Good evening, and welcome to Wednesday night OWCP Chats, live with Chris and Gini.
I guess you're taking over the show tonight. How is everyone doing?
Well, there's nobody on right now, but if you're watching the replay later on, you'll see us, and you'll be really glad to be here, just like we're glad to be here.
Okay, so.
Hey, there's somebody.
Whoops. Wait, let me turn my volume
There's
down.
two somebodies. Hey, Ron.
Vera,
hi.
Ron, Rose. How are you guys doing tonight?
All right.
Can you swipe? So those of you that are on here, don't forget to share. Invite a friend. You can tag their name down below.
Yep.
Let's see.
Is my hat straight?
Is your hat straight? Hello, Sandra. How are you guys all doing tonight? I don't know about you guys, but Florida is freaking H-O-T exclamation.
It is. It's hot. We were out at the beach today. They have the first Wednesday of every month. They have a Jeep meet, and I have a Jeep.
I couldn't walk from the Jeep to the couple cars. If any of you saw, I recorded a video and I posted it, and it was just like...
So I threw her over my shoulder. That video was amazing, considering that she was over my shoulder. It was really talented. That was a good job.
You wish. Let's see. We have Christopher Garay from California.
What's up?
Tammy, she said, what's up, lovely people? Hello,
hey, lovely Tammy.
Rose. Jojo, hello. Jerry. Ron said, lucky you.
Yeah, at the beach, yeah. Lucky. Or the Jeep thing, yeah. Everybody knows I'm lucky for having the Jeep.
Let's see. Jerry, hey, guys. Up from Virginia.
Yeah.
Nicole, good evening, Jeannie and Chris.
Good evening.
All right, guys. So before we begin, go ahead and share. So tonight we're going to do Q&A.
And share.
We're going to do Q&A. You ask, we answer.
Yeah.
Get your questions all ready. Oh, Ron said we're lucky because we're at the beach.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the other thing. Either the Jeep or the beach.
We're going to make Jerry, as of tonight, we're going to make Jerry our spokeslady for Federal Injury Center. So she said, share, everybody, exclamation.
Yeah, she's actually perfect for that.
Shannon, how are you doing?
Hey, Shannon.
Nina Marie, how is everybody? Okay, so in the meantime, again, tonight is Q&A. Jojo, you said I heard back from Eric Blowers. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Yeah, good.
And speaking of Eric Blowers, I was going to say, not next week. Next week we won't be on live because Chris is doing Concert on the Couch with Aaron Lewis. And I got him a meet and greet, which he always gets the meet and greets. And he gets to have FaceTime one-on-one with Aaron Lewis. That's his favorite singer. And
you made that sound super intimate. And, hopefully it will be. If you don't know who Aaron Lewis is, just go look him up. He's the ex-lead singer of Stained, the 90s rock band, which is my favorite of all time. And every time he does something, she hooks me up. And last year we went and got selfies and autographs.
Backstage passes.
That was so cool. I mean, she's like the best, okay? I got selfies with Aaron Lewis, with Chris D'Elia, the comedian.
Yeah.
Look up Chris D'Elia. He's super funny. And with Rocket Ishmael, formerly of Notre Dame and the Dallas Cowboys. So that was all in 1 year.
That's true.
This year, COVID hit, and, I'm doing less selfies.
Shannon, you said you're back at work.
Congratulations.
Awesome. And she said, thank you for getting my claim approved. Good.
Yeah, well, we're really happy it got approved.
Okay, so let me, since we're on, oh, yes, Chris is feeling well. So, yeah, the reason we didn't do last week, he had a stomach bug, and then I caught it on Monday, and I couldn't stand it, so
yeah.
It went from him to me, and we're
That's
both
how that
okay
goes.
now.
That's how that goes.
So we're okay now.
Yeah. Last week I was worried that I would have to leave the video and not come back, so it was better not to even do the thing. It sucked.
Oh, Lisa, I am so sorry. We send our sincere sympathy to you and your family.
Oh, man.
Oh, Oh, we hope you still watch, and we will keep
We're really
him
sorry about that.
in our prayers.
Lisa lost her
and-
husband. That's absolutely terrible.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
yeah, we're so. You made my eyes water up here. Alicia, you said you never heard back from Eric. Okay, contact his office again and speak to his receptionist. My husband has a man crush on Rob Thomas.
Yeah, of course.
Who's Rob Thomas?
Another rocker from
Oh.
the 90s.
Oh, you're welcome, Lisa.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, tonight is Q&A. You ask and we answer. And so,
If all of you will take a moment to share this with other people, then I'll begin answering questions.
yeah.
Until then, you're on your own.
All right, so next Wednesday we won't be on. Come back the following Wednesday. We're going to have Eric on talking about OPM disability and federal personal injury. What to do when you get rear-ended in your a federal government vehicle.
Or hit, not rear-ended, but when you're in an accident driving your vehicle in the course of duty. But it doesn't have to just be car accidents. It can be dog bites, and it can be a slip and fall when
A third
wherever
party
you
is
wherever you're
involved,
slipped.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, wherever you're at and you slipped and they were responsible for the slip.
Yeah.
That's a third party.
So we're going to do it again like we did like 2 weeks ago. We're going to have him on our TV.
Except I'm not going to screw the sound up
yeah.
again like I did
gonna,
last
We're
time.
going to test it out. He was doing something somewhere, so we couldn't really test it out because he was late
At a
on
beach. He was at a beach.
He was late on responding.
They have beaches in Carolina as well.
And then the following week, so not next week, we're off next week. The following week will be Eric Blowers. And then the following week, we're going to pick 3 chapters from the Breaking OWCP book that Chris wrote, Breaking OWCP. And we're going to go over 3 chapters. And by that time, I'll put what 3 chapters. So if you haven't gotten a book yet, grab one. It's $14.95 with free shipping, and we get it out the next day in the mail by 3 p.m.
I'm not planning on reading the chapters.
Yeah.
I do the writing, I do the reading.
So we're gonna
talk about.
Yeah, we're
the
gonna talk
chapters.
about it, but get a highlighter, get a pen, and take notes. It's your book, and that's what we're gonna do. So, with that said,
Where can they find it?
go to www.breakingowcp.com, and right below in the comment, I'm gonna pin the website as well.
I do want to say this, and I'm going to leave it alone from there. But a lot of you have been clearly buying one for someone else because a lot of people are getting 2 or more. So it's really nice of you. Thank you for doing that, for not just taking care of yourself, but your coworkers. Surely you have friends at work who you don't want to go through this trouble. So good job, and thank you.
Yeah, and don't forget, Christmas is coming in a couple more months, which I'm so excited that I just want the end of the year to get here so we can get rid of hurricanes and we can just get cold weather.
Yeah. A couple of months, 4 to be exact.
Yeah. So let's get to it. Let's get all these questions. I know
So
you guys
start
are-
sharing. As a reminder, go to Twitter at Fed Injury Center. I've almost given up on the rest of you. I think those of you, 835 people or something like that, have decided to follow at Fed Injury Center on Twitter. I guess the rest of you either hate your phones or hate social media.
You can also watch us on our app at Federal Injury Centers. We have a free app for Android and iPhone.
It's called Federal Injury Centers. If you download it, you could be watching us from the app.
Yeah. All right. So R. Rose says, my postmaster keeps pushing me to get FMLA as well. She initiated HR. Send it to me.
Well, there's a time and a place for FMLA. If your claim isn't accepted and the doctor needs you to be off of work, but your claim's not accepted, FMLA will protect your job, and you get like 120 days a year. And so if you need to be off of work and your claim's not accepted, that's the way to go. However, if your claim's accepted, get a CA-17 duty status report from your supervisor and take it to your doctor to fill it out and turn it back into management. And then you don't need FMLA. So the key is obviously get your claim accepted. And if anyone needs help getting a claim accepted and their doctor can't get it done, let us know and let us help you.
Yeah. David Horn says, I've had 3 reoccurrences, incisional hernias. It appears that my surgeon is reluctant to repair a hernia again. Hoping to find a doctor for a second opinion in Massachusetts or New Hampshire.
Well, let me say this. I'm aware of how hernias work. And unless your exact same hernia you had before in the exact same spot comes back, then it's a new hernia. And if it's new, then it's a new CA1. Most likely it could be a CA2. I can think of how a hernia could develop over time, but generally I think we all understand you lift something heavy and it happens, which makes it a CA1. So don't, and I say this in the book, don't just automatically assume it's a recurrence just because you have another hernia. You know, maybe, and again, I'm not a doctor, but maybe you're somebody, or not you, but maybe if you are somebody who is predisposed to getting hernias, you might have multiple hernias in multiple spots. And if a hernia happens as a result of lifting something that happened in a single shift, then by definition, that's a CA1, even if you had a hernia in the same spot. I can compare it to this. I've had in both knees ACL ligament reconstruction. If I tear my ACL ligament again, it's a new injury, regardless of the fact that I had it before as an old injury. So just because you had an old hernia and you have a new hernia, it doesn't mean it's a recurrence. It very well could be a new injury, which could make your life easier. And it gives you access to a CA16 again. It gives you access to more COP. You know, it's advantageous to check with your doctor to see if it's a new injury versus a recurrence of an old one.
Kara Henderson says, can the boss tell you what days to go to the doctor, or is it our discretion? What?
So you have a right to be off work to get help from your doctor. The boss cannot tell you when you can and can't go to the doctor. For example, what if your boss says you can only go to the doctor on Friday, and Friday's the day your doctor's closed? You're pretty much screwed. So no, they can't tell you that. You schedule it with your doctor and give your supervisor as much advance notice as you can, and then fill out a CA7 or 7A to go with that probably, and you can take off like that.
Janice Downey. I was like, wait.
Oh,
Downey.
one more thing on that supervisor thing. Be sure you involve your union because your supervisor cannot prevent you from seeing the doctor, and you may need union help in that.
Yeah. Janice Downey said, Chris, you are just awesome at what you do.
Well, Janice, you're awesome. Thank you.
Sandra Strong said, I tore both rotator cuffs at the same time, September 2018.
Jesus.
Right shoulder, full tear. Left shoulder, partial tear.
What in the heck were you lifting over your head? She had to be lifting somebody over. Something over the head, yeah.
Had surgery on the right February 2019. MMI January 2020. Hardly any therapy or anything on the left. Mm-hmm. Need to speak to someone about this mess. Don't really want surgery on the left. Both shoulders have same claim numbers.
Okay, so that's fine, the same claim number thing. You're not required to have surgery. Nobody can force you. You can be put at MMI without surgery. But even if you're at MMI, there are circumstances where you can continue to get therapy if that helps relieve symptoms. So feel free and give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you out with that.
Yeah, 877-787-OWCP.
6927.
Tony Schneider says, I'm currently on work comp with issues and still have some surgeries. I got a letter from work comp telling me if I don't go back to work within a year, I will lose my position. Is this true? I'm a regular with a route for 23 years. Wow.
Yeah, that is true. The supervisor management can do that to you. So check with your union, and all this goes for everybody. Stay in constant communication with the union, assuming you're involved or a member of your union. And, I always tell people, go back to work as soon as possible. Even on limited duty, try to find limited duty work if possible, because then they can't do that to you.
Joe Bonilla said, I back light duty 7 to 3:30 p.m., but I need to go to physical therapy 4 p.m., time for attended by labor department.
Yeah. You're allowed to miss time from work to go to the doctor and to therapy. You can miss up to 4 hours of your work shift. So if your therapy session is at 4, and let's say it takes you 30 minutes to get there and you clock out at 3:30, you're good to go. If it takes you an hour to get there, clock out at 3, and then you count LWOP for the time that you missed. So you fill out a CA7 and a CA7A, and you elect LWOP for your missed time.
I mean, yeah, we've talked about this before. You guys understand that once you have an accepted claim, you have 4 hours to use.
Up to 4 hours of a work shift.
Of your work shift, of your 8-hour work shift to go to your therapy and your doctor's appointment. Just get your therapy log and give it to your supervisor so they have for like 2 weeks or whatever, the 12 weeks. And you're also paper from your doctor saying when you have to go back in if you need a follow-up or if you have an upcoming appointment.
Now, let's be clear. It's not 4 hours, up to 4 hours of an 8-hour day. It's up to 4 hours of your work shift. If you work 6 hours a day, you are entitled to up to 4 hours of the 6. If you work 4 hours a day, you're entitled to the whole thing.
Yep.
So you have to just clock out and use a CA7 and 7A for your time off the clock.
Janice Downey said, do you file FMLA if you go out on surgery leave for surgery not related to work?
Well, you certainly want to do that if you're concerned about protecting your job, because Family Medical Leave Act protects your job. They have to let you come back to a job at least the same level as where you left, even if not the same position. And so they have to protect your ability to go back to work at the same level. If you have sick and annual leave, you can use that during FMLA. Those of you that have the book know that the last chapter is a management chapter, so you know that I come from there. And I used to encourage people all the time, and I would work at a doctor's office, that if you're out on medical leave, it may be a good idea to use FMLA, because then, see, I was a really good boss, but my boss above me wasn't such a good guy, and I wanted to protect them from him, and so I would have them fill out FMLA so that he couldn't remove them from their job if they were gone for a long time. He hated when I did that, but I did it every time.
Tammy, you're so funny. Tammy says, if I buy a book, I would like to meet up and pick it up and have you two sign it, please, for lunch, hint, hint. So
that sounds great. Let's do it.
So with that said,
if you bring Scott,
what we'd like to do is come up into the Spring Hill area, because we know a lot of you are up there, and find a spot that we could do a little book signing, maybe Spring Hill, and then go on down to Fort Myers as well.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
And do some book signings and stuff like that. So, but Tammy, get in touch with me. We can meet you separate and meet you for lunch, or if anybody wants to. I love lunch.
Yeah, we actually would love. I'm really actually happy, Tammy, you asked that, because we miss everybody terribly.
We do.
This COVID thing, and then those of you that know the stuff that happened prior where we weren't going to the meetings anymore, was really painful for me, because one of the highlights of my, let's call this a job, it doesn't feel like one, but one of the highlights of it was being able to see you in person, and sort of the energy that I felt when I was teaching this live, in a live audience. That was so much fun, but just being able to see everyone. And I even wanted to do one of these in the office again, but the COVID thing kind of prevents that. So, but we'd love to meet for lunch. You know, at the lunch, when you get into the restaurants, they let you take the masks off, and then I can do a lot of talking at that.
And with that being said, we're going to start, and all of you saw that I posted, if you want to have a Zoom union meeting, or if you just want to gather some friends and have a little one-on-one instead of everybody on Facebook, we could do that as well.
Yeah.
And we could come to your Zoom meeting. I know in Birmingham, the mail handler president there, he's setting one up so we could be guests and speak about whatever topic they want us to speak about. So don't forget, I know a lot of you tagged and shared it like 15 times and told some of your local union about it. So let us know, because we want to get that scheduled. And if you guys are going to be ending the year with maybe one grand finale union meeting, we'd like to be there.
Yeah, but lunches, internet meetings, those sorts of things, we'd love to do that.
Yeah.
I miss you guys a lot.
Sherry, you said, I give up altogether. Can't find a doctor. Let me know where you're located, and let's see if we could get you some help, okay?
And Sherry, get my book. I don't typically tell people directly to get my book, but if you haven't already, do it. What you're going to see is that we don't give up, ever. So just put that out of your mind. We're not giving up. We can help you.
Jimmy Whitten said, she fine as hell. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
You're so sweet.
I agree.
Maureen said, he can also inquire about Form CA2. You're probably responding to somebody. Okay. A lot of people, you guys are on here. Michelle Walker said, please post number on the feed. Okay, I will. Let me do that. And 877-787 OWCP. Whoops. Okay. So I just posted my number there. Let's see. Linda Cogswell said, Union doesn't want to help rural carriers. So glad you guys are helping us. You're so welcome.
Well, Linda, I want to tell you something, and I don't want to say anything about your union because so many of the people in different states that are in charge of the unions in those states are really close friends of mine, and I don't want to call them out here either, and you all know why. But regardless, if your union wants to help, I do, and we have a special place in our heart for the rural carriers, and we know that you guys get hosed probably more than anybody else. So we're with you. If you ever have any trouble, just let us know.
Yeah.
And we know you have trouble, so, call us every day.
Corby Simpkins said, is there any grace period forgiveness for being out a year and stand a chance of losing a job due to COVID-19? Appointment with surgery being extended or canceled due to non-essential surgery, carpal tunnel.
You need to get with your union tomorrow. There's almost nothing we can do. This is, when you get to those statutory time periods, you're at the place where you got to have a union person involved and fighting for you. And, some of the other crafts will hate for me to say this, but you could even potentially change crafts just so you can, I don't know what you did before, but so you can sit down or I don't know what. But try to find some way so that doesn't happen to you. Nobody's going to fight for you like you will, period. Your union should. They should fight for you like they are you. But that's where I would go. I'd go to the union and ask for help. Yeah. Fighting.
Tina, you said, has anyone missed their deadlines of their OWCP claims due to COVID? If so, were extensions granted? I'm going to be dealing with this, I think.
I haven't heard that happen. I imagine that it did happen to somebody. The bottom line is you can e-comp from home. You can call claims examiners and you can ask for help and, what deadlines am I up against? And those are things you can do. I think if you feel like you're in danger of missing a deadline, that at 9 a.m. tomorrow you should be on the phone with your district office and find out what you can do to get things done, like right away. And if there's anything we can do to help, which there probably is, so you don't miss a deadline, please let us help you. And just call that number that she posted there.
Yeah. Cindy Cardona. She said, hi, I love your sweater. Well, thanks.
Well, how about that? Hi, Cindy.
I got this from Amazon, and I just took it to our print place that we go print our logo and stuff on, and yeah. So if you want one, let us know. We can let you know where to get one at. Oh shoot! I was just asking the same question. I was just joining. Okay.
Welcome. While we have a lull, she's reading questions. Everyone share this, please. Let people know. If we could double the number of people watching right now, that'd be great because this is good, helpful information. If you wait until you need it to get the information, it is too late every time. So thanks for being here. Let everyone else know that it's happening. Share.
Yeah, sorry, I'm because a lot of you are answering each other's questions and replying to that person. So just give me a minute here. So Kelly
which is actually super cool if you like.
Yeah, we love that you guys interact that way.
I could just go over there for a minute and you just let me know when you need me to come back.
Kelly said, hey there. Question.
Hey.
Case was approved for cervical strain. MRI has now been done and showed herniated disc in C4, C5.
Okay.
What now? How does that work with work comp?
So the what now is you take that, well, you don't have to take the MRI report to the doctor. They have it. But your doctor uses that MRI report to write a narrative report that's called a diagnosis expansion report to add the diagnosis of cervical herniated disc to your claim. And if you don't do that, what you're going to find is with a strain or a sprain, they're going to cut your treatment off really early. And that you have a herniation is going to be a serious problem for you because you won't be ready to go back for probably. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't speak medically. But I know that there's a huge difference between a herniation and a strain. So you got to have a diagnosis expansion report that goes into your claims examiner and adds the herniation to your claim. So you can get more treatment. Because what you want is to get the treatment you need so you get better. And that will not happen with a herniation if strain is your approved condition.
For some odd reason, my phone just, I don't know what happened. So if I didn't get to your question, repost it again. Because in my phone, it's showing that I'm going to be answering Lisa Clapp, her question. And I know there was much more questions before that. So Lisa says, finally able to watch again. Phone been error loading. Aw.
Welcome
good.
back.
Corby Simpkins, you said you're a mailman, and thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Darlene Leonard. Number for second opinion doctor near Gary. I have an appointment with doctor of their choice on August 10th.
Don't miss that appointment. You're required to go. Whatever you do, do not miss that appointment. That's the end of your claim if you miss it.
Diane Woodworth said, are you supposed to be given time on the clock to fill out your CA7 and CA7As?
No, there's no rule for that. That's something that you should be filling out along the way. Like, I'd probably have a stack of them at home and fill those out. So usually no, there's no rule. They don't have to let you fill that out on the clock. And that's definitely not a place. That's not a battle I'd pick. Let's put it that way.
And I know, I don't remember who it was, but you asked, I think it was Joe, you asked for Chris to explain the 4-hour physical therapy issue.
Well, the explanation is this. It's not for physical therapy. It could be for an MRI. It could be for, just a doctor's appointment. Some doctors are backed up 2 hours. I don't know. Maybe it takes you half an hour to get there, half an hour to get back, and you're in the office an hour and a half. So, you've been there a while. What it is it's up to 4 hours of your work shift. So let's say you clock in at 8 o'clock, and at 12 o'clock you have a doctor's, or 1 o'clock. This will make it easier. You have a doctor's appointment. It takes you an hour to get there. Clock out at noon. But as of noon, you're now on LWOP because you're off the clock. And so you get a CA7 and 7A. On that form, the 7A, you're able to account for your time on the clock and your time off the clock. So that's how you do it. But the rules allow you to do this. You need documentation. And if you go to breakingowcp.com, I've got a form for helping you document getting paid when you're off for a work injury. So get that. It's in the tab that says free downloads. So definitely go get that free download. And it'll help you understand how you can get paid.
Melissa Casey says, I read that the difference between light duty and limited duty is light is outside work injury and limited for on-the-job injury. Is this true? And
100%.
Does this rule only apply to rural carriers or also for me? I'm an RCA.
It applies to everybody that's a federal employee. Light duty and limited duty are definitely delineated like that. Limited is for work injuries.
Leanne said, I missed the schedule award chat. Where can I find it? Can you get a schedule award and continue to work?
Yes, you can get a schedule award and continue to work. That's very common. And you can find it 2 weeks ago. We never delete these. So if you just go down to the last video on this page, it's there.
Yeah, a lot of you were asking, how can you watch the replay
They're all
on this?
there.
So we always save the video, so you have to wait till this video is done. And then if you just go back on the Wednesday night chats, there's a tab for video. Click video, and every single video that we've done is there. And for some odd reason, we had a video last year, I think October, or maybe the October before, that had 270,000 people watch.
That's not odd. That's awesome.
No, I'm just saying. I can't remember what the topic was about because I want to get another 270,000 views.
What did he say? The guy said, what, you're hot? Beautiful? Yeah. Well, that's why.
No, I'm fine.
Well, yeah, that. Obviously.
Terry Sather says, any doctors near Minnesota I could go for percentage of disability.
Yeah, there's one near Minnesota in Chicago. That was sarcasm, obviously. There's not one yet. But our goal is to put one in every state, and I'm sorry there's not one there yet, but it's hard work. If I could strong-arm doctors into doing what I tell them to do, we'd all be better off.
Tina, you said, okay, Chris, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm waiting on Hoffman Estates doctor to get back with me. Maybe you can light a fire under his butt.
That's her.
Tina, yeah, I'm with their team in Chicago, Hoffman Estates, and I've told him Please contact me tomorrow via Messenger and let me deal with this, and give me your phone number on the Messenger so I could text the both of you together.
But I will call his mother if I have to.
Yeah.
I will call his mother.
Oh, the fire, you're just trying to get your attention. Oh, no, it's okay. That's fine. Let's see. Linda said, yes, had to do 2 to 3 times before I got to the doctor when MI opened each month. They approved extension each time. Good luck. Okay.
Yeah.
Valerie Miller says, is a federal second opinion doctor needed if surgeon releases you to work when unable to do a job? Currently at no lifting with operative arm rotator cuff surgery left, over 10 pounds. Arthritis in right wrist, CA1 back in 03 closed. Pit bull crush injury. Can OWCP and OPM be done at the same time 6 months post-op? Do you want to look at that again?
No.
Okay.
There's a lot to unwind in there. They started off with a question.
Is a federal second opinion doctor needed?
So the second opinion doctor needed or not needed is irrelevant.
If surgeon releases you to work.
It's irrelevant. It's required if your claims examiner says so. You don't just go get a second opinion doctor. I mean, you can go to another doctor. Of course, you can. But if they send you to a second opinion doctor, forget needed or not needed. You must go. So just know that. Don't skip it. And can you do OPM and OWCP at the same time? Well, that's 2 different agencies, so yes, you can.
Terry said...
Hold on, I'm sorry. Once you're on OPM retirement disability, though, you're not anymore going to be on OWCP rolls, so you're not going to get paid from OWCP. But you can continue to get treatment through OWCP. You can only get paid once at a time. So she's pointing, this is so funny, so we have Gizmo, the Shih Tzu. And for them, look... I don't want to hide anything from our audience. He has spent this entire time
Gizmo
rubbing his butt on the ground. You know, he just does that. And so it's super funny. I don't know what's going on. He's not leaving any marks, so it's not that. But now he's just watching because he's intently learning like you are.
It's so cute.
Just
if
like
you guys could see him.
Well, you could post that picture you just took.
I will.
No, I mean, you could post it right there.
It doesn't do that there.
Well, Facebook is so dumb.
Terry Sathers, you said, scheduled for PT during my 4 hours of work on accepted conditions. Do I need to reschedule those times?
No. They're accepted conditions. You just need to give your supervisor advance notice. And I recommend just going to your PT office and getting a advanced printout of all the appointments. So let's say you're going to have 20 appointments. I don't know how many appointments you're going to have. Let's say you have 20. Schedule all 20 today. Don't leave the office without having all 20 of your appointments scheduled. Get a printout of that and take that to your supervisor and say, I'm going to be off these times. And that's advance notice. Give a copy to your union as well, so they're not blindsided later if your supervisor tries to take some adverse action against you. But then you fill out a CA7 and 7A for your time away up to 4 hours in a work shift.
Michelle said, I've been advised to get FMLA, but I had surgery yesterday and already have a claim.
Well, now, you can have a claim that's not approved. So having a claim that's not approved are 2 different things. If you don't have a claim approved, use FMLA. If your claim is approved, use a CA17. Use a CA17.
You got all the way there. CA
all the way there.
17.
17.
Tanijo Davis says, how can I force comp to approve surgery for a herniated disc going on since 2014? Still not fixed yet, but I'm still working and in pain as a nifty.
Well, here's what's happening. Almost certainly, and I'm going to leave a 2% chance, far outside chance that I'm wrong about this. If you have a herniated disc since 2014 and they're denying surgery, I'm guessing that you have an MRI that shows a herniation, but you have an accepted condition of sprain strain. And until your doctor does a diagnosis expansion to add the herniation, they'll never, ever, ever approve a surgery for a sprain or a strain. If it's not that, then correct me, and I'll be wrong. I haven't been wrong in a couple of weeks, so I'm coming due on time. On anything. She'll tell you. At all. Nothing at all.
Christy says, a friend needs rotator cuff surgery due to wear and tear over the last 16 years. How do you go about filling a claim for an occupational disease? Also, what form does she need to fill out?
A CA2. Anything that develops over 2 or more shifts, 2 or more days, 2 or more weeks, 2 or more months, 2 or more years, those go on a CA2 form. And you just go to the supervisor and say, I've got this issue, fill the form out. Page 1 is for the employee, page 2 for the supervisor, and get copies of all 3, including the receipt of notice of receipt. And then take that to your doctor. And that's what starts the process.
Wayne says...
By the way, there's a whole chapter in the book on CA2, so check that out. You might want to encourage your friend to get that, because if you have a CA2 claim, that's one that's easy to get denied, but if you know what you're doing, it's easy to get approved.
And in case those of you that don't know what he's talking about as far as the book go, right there, I pinned the comment is pinned, www.breakingowcp.com, where you can find the book Breaking OWCP for $14.95, free shipping. And those of you that get it in 2 weeks, we're going to go over 3 chapters and just kind of cover some of the stuff in there if you want to take extra notes or ask particular questions on those chapters, because those are the ones we've been getting questions on.
Yeah.
Okay, Wayne says, herniated disc in June, filed a CA1 and got a letter requesting more information.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor isn't familiar with DOL and wouldn't approve a narrative. Wants me to file HIPAA release, seeing an orthopedic specialist tomorrow.
Where are you located, and can you get your doctor in touch with me? Because if I could train your doctor, you'd stop having that problem, and all your coworkers would as well.
Yeah,
and also give us a call.
Yeah,
and
Wayne,
myself or Jennifer will walk you through it. We'll help you out.
Wayne, at the end of our live, go ahead and message me, and I'll go ahead and give you my direct number where the doctor can call, and we'll see if he wants to come on and be a franchise doctor for federal injury centers, and then you won't have to deal with this.
Yeah, that's the thing that we do. Our primary business outside of teaching here is teaching doctors. And anytime we find a doctor who's giving you a hard time just because they're not trained, that's an opportunity to train that doctor.
Yep.
So nobody in your area has that hard time again.
Lisa says, I'm new to this. A coworker tagged me in this, and it all makes me really nervous. I was so clueless to all what's going on. I was rear-ended last Monday. Guess I'm fixing to find out real soon. Okay, so Lisa, if you can message me after the live video, let's talk about it. I'll give you attorney Eric Blowers' number. It's the attorney we had on last week, and if you want to go back and watch the video, he's the attorney that we're talking about. And in 2 weeks we are going to be having him on talking about federal personal injury as well as OPM disability, and I want to get you in touch with him way sooner than the next 2 weeks. So message me and let me help you through this, and you don't have to worry about anything. File a CA1, though, for your injury.
So I was going to say some of that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
No, I do want to say this. Don't be nervous.
Yeah.
That's really common. And thank you for watching. We're glad somebody told you to be here, so that's good that you're here. Tell somebody else, so pass that on. But you don't need to be nervous. You fill out a CA1 form. There's going to be a box on the page 1 that says, is this a third-party injury? Check yes, because it is. Third party is a car accident. And but there are some things you'll have to do. They require you by rule to do it, and we'll help you through that. Eric will help you through that. You're gonna need him. It won't cost you anything. You have to use him though. You don't have to use him. God forbid. You pick someone else. You could pick someone else, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, understand this for all federal employees across the board. You have to find a federal attorney.
Yeah.
And look, we both have friends that are just regular PI attorneys, and it's great. They're great attorneys. But
they're awesome at what they do.
Yeah, they just don't understand the federal world like what you guys have to deal with. So instead of going to your friend's attorney that they said they can help you with getting rear-ended and hit and all that, contact us. We'll give you Eric's information. Or if you know of a federal attorney, get them to do it. And
or you can just Google OWCP lawyer. You'll find one. But our guy, I promise you, is the best.
Also, if you, on our post, on one of the posts, there's a picture from when we had our reception where Eric is standing with us. That's attorney Eric Blowers, and his information is on there as well. So if you want his phone number, you can call him there too. Melissa said, I forgot to ask, are you allowed limited duty while you're waiting on your claim to be approved through reconsideration appeal? Mine was denied for lack of proof, so my question is, can you only work limited duty once it's approved?
You can work limited duty anytime your supervisor will allow it. I don't know, it sounds like a simple answer, but it's the answer.
Aw, Tina said, Lisa Ann, buy Chris's book. You won't be disappointed. And Lisa, she's talking about right below where I pinned it. That's where you can buy the book. Marianne, hi, how are you? Andrew, we see you. How are you? Sorry
Andrew.
I didn't come to the office on Monday.
But hey, you should see. So we have this office here in Clearwater. Andrew's there. They've expanded. They have 3 offices now connected. That's how many people that they're helping. They're getting claims accepted. And almost everybody comes to them by word of mouth, meaning they got their claim accepted and told somebody else. So that's what we do at Federal Injury Centers. If you're in Florida and you're in the Clearwater area,
go see Andrew and Dr. Rush and Wallen.
that's how you get claims accepted. So you don't have any of these problems.
Dr. Isaac and Dr. Cameraman, they're great doctors there.
Okay.
Gloria said, does the book have information on schedule awards? I'm
Of course.
retired.
Of course. I think it's chapter 13, but could be 12 or 14. Anyways, it's a pretty good chapter, if I do say so myself. I know the author.
Tanijo said, my doctor is Dr. Sethi in Vestal, New York, who is a federal comp doctor, but I don't think he is wording his request correctly.
Almost nobody does.
How do I find out how to get him to word the request correctly to get stuff approved?
He's going to have to call me.
Yeah. Have him still contact me.
And you can send me whatever he's written. I'll be glad to look at it too, but I recommend having the doctor call me. But I'll be more than happy to look at your reports. That goes for almost everybody. I mean, if your report's 20 pages long, I might not look at it. But if it's 5 pages, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah. Alicia, you said the PO sent me a letter stating that I waited too long to file. However, I contacted my supervisor within a week of going out to work, but she drug her feet. Do I have a chance with hiring Eric?
Okay, on this one, I think Eric would tell you that you don't have to hire him.
Now,
In 10 minutes, it would probably take him 5 to tell you what I'm about to tell you. You have 3 years to report your injuries.
3 years, so whoever's telling you something
3.
else is lying.
If you reported it in 1 week, you did it already. So go fill your form out and turn it in and get copies of everything. You get my book, okay? Get the book. You got to get the book. I talk extensively about the 3-year thing on how to file these injuries, what to do if your supervisor gives you a hard time. This is common. You're not alone, okay? You're definitely not alone. This is happening to everybody.
Yeah.
But you have 3 years to report your injury. You have 3 years so that you can still get help. Don't let anybody tell you that you've missed your deadline, because you almost certainly have not.
I think that's the number one rule we always open up when we come to conventions, that you have 3 years. And when people hear this, they're sometimes astonished, like, what?
Yeah, I ask people, like, just a show of hands, who thinks that they have 1 week to report an injury? Or 3 days, or 2.
30 days, 90 days. Yeah, we
It's
hear it
unbelievable.
all.
We hear some, it's 3 years, okay? You
Yeah.
have 3 years, so it's not too late.
And if they said that that's not true, contact us and we'll give you the...
Yeah, and there's a whole chapter in the book
Yeah.
on the rules, and so you can actually quote the U.S. Code and the Code of Federal Regulations, 2 different places that says you have 3 years.
Juanita said, can you give the attorney name and phone number, please? Okay, so, Juanita, I can't give the attorney's number right now since I'm on my phone and I'm going to lose all the comments again.
But it's Eric Blowers,
It's
you know,
Eric-
like flowers, but with a B.
Yeah, so it's Eric Blowers, B as in boy, Lowers. And if you go back after the video, scroll through the posts, there's a picture with me, Eric, and Chris together from our reception. And I said in big letters, attorney Eric Blowers, and I have a finger pointing at him. His information is on there.
And probably somebody that's watching right now has worked with him. Feel free and post his number. Okay, if you have it, just go ahead and post it here. That's fine.
Tina said, oh, she's replying to Lisa. I've been battling with my claim ankle injury since May 2018. You're in a good place now. These 2 are amazing.
Oh,
Aw,
I really appreciate
that
you
is
saying
so
that.
Sweet.
Thank you.
James Colbert, how are you?
Hey, James.
You said, need more help with my claim MRI. Done, but not with dye. My shoulder is only showing strains, but one with no dye.
So your doctor's got to reorder it and order it with contrast dye. It's called contrast. So just tell your doctor you want another one and see what happens.
Yeah, James, you gave me his number. So if this is a doctor that you want us to call for a franchise, let me know in detail, okay? Yeah. Message me privately, and we will call.
Yeah.
Ruth Crandall, she said, got hurt, went to their doctors. They did an MRI, and now they say it has degenerative disc disease, and PO is not going to pay for anything else.
Oh, let me just stop you there. The PO is never going to pay for anything. No, and for those of you that don't work for the Postal Service, she means the post office. The post office never pays for anything, ever. And we don't really care what they think. What I care about is what your doctor thinks. So if you have degenerative disc disease, that sounds like something that happens over a long period of time. That sounds like a CA2 claim. It sounds like you fill it out and you go to the doctor and you have a doctor write a narrative report that explains why that's related to the job. We don't care what a post office says, a supervisor, a postmaster. No offense to them, but they're not doctors with medical licenses. Heck, I know of a postmaster that came up as a janitor, so for sure does not have any medical background.
That's a true story.
And that wasn't a joke. And it's not an insult either. It just is what it is. And so you let your doctor determine if it's work-related.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Do not give up.
Carol Hayes says, I was approved for FMLA for possible carpal tunnel and trigger finger. Should I file for work comp? Yes.
Okay. Now, that's a tricky question. If you think what you have is work-related, then absolutely you should absolutely file for workers' comp. And then it sounds like it's a CA2. I could be wrong, but I can't think of many situations where carpal tunnel happens in a single shift. So talk to your doctor about it, but it sounds like a CA2. Your doctor will correct me if I'm wrong.
Tycee Moore says, I heard today that the post office is going to give us new job offers. The new Postmaster General is trying to push us into duty. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's another tricky one. I am in favor of you getting paid. You getting paid is one of my highest priorities. And the surest way to get paid is to clock in. They can't deny your pay if you're on the clock. So just keep that in mind. I know that some of you that are carriers don't want to end up as clerks or mail handlers and vice versa, right? So, deal with your unions, and some of your unions are very powerful. Some of your unions have a lot of pull, and some of your union representatives are very strong. And I would deal with those people, and that's a union issue, to be honest with you, total union issue. But clocking in is the surest way to get paid. If you're off the clock on LWOP, there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through to get paid. We can help you jump through them and get paid, but to clock in, there are no hoops.
Hey, Matt, you said, can DOL use evidence of injuries from a previous third-party claim deny my current third-party claim?
No. So let's say you get hired today, and I don't know how to put this. I don't want to say it's my favorite. It's a good example. Because such a high number of people that were veterans, or are veterans, work for federal agencies like the VA and the Postal Service. And let's say you were injured in the course of duty in the Army or the Marines, okay? And you show up and you get hired from the Postal Service, and you've got a pre-existing condition from your active duty. Well, let's say that pre-existing condition is a knee injury, okay? And you're carrying the mail, and one day you step out of your LLV and you feel a pop. Well, it doesn't matter that you had a prior condition. That's covered. So I said all that to say prior conditions are covered. If your job exacerbates, worsens a prior condition, it's covered, period.
Maureen, I don't know if you were talking to us or this Jerry Thompson. You said, okay, my doctor's office assistant had the wrong number to fax all paperwork. And by the time we realized my case was denied, We did a reconsideration and have been waiting 45 days and need surgery on my rotator cuff.
Well, you got to call your claims examiner if you're waiting 45 days on a reconsideration, and just find out what the status of that thing is, and call every day if that's what it takes. Now, any claims examiners watching hate that I just said that, but you know, your life is important, so call every day.
We tell you guys to call every day, numerous times a day, till they pick up the phone or email you and give you some sort of answer, because with COVID, they're all home. They work from home anyway.
Well, a lot of them are home. I don't know if it's all, but gosh, a lot of them.
They can take your calls.
And you can ask for a supervisor, a senior claims examiner supervisor. You know, do what it takes.
Michelle Walker says, I didn't know 3 years till I read the book. My manager hung up on
Well, thanks for getting the book.
My manager hung up on me when I told her I fell. Oh boy.
Wait, the manager hung up when? when she told her what?
That she fell.
Oh.
Because she had 3 years.
Hey, that's how that goes. 3 years is the rule.
Okay, down below, where somebody asked for Eric's information, it's there. So you guys have it there.
Awesome.
Let's see.
This is great. You guys have such good questions tonight. Keep them coming. We may
Tommy,
go a little bit longer.
Yeah, because of the Q&A.
Yeah, I'm not tired yet, and you guys have a lot of good questions, so just keep them coming.
Thomas Lyman said, can you cover New York City area? Okay, so with that said,
yeah,
we tell you guys every week, we are coming to all 50 states times 1 or times 10 doctors, depending on if a doctor wants to get on board with federal injury centers. However, Dr. Rashamwala and Andrew in the Clearwater area will be coming to New York area. I don't know when, and we don't know what area yet.
No, we do. They plan on going. Yeah, they plan on Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens.
Okay.
That's their plan, is to have 3 office locations inside of those 5 boroughs up there, in those 3.
And did they say when?
Well,
I don't know when.
In the next 12 months. They're going to open, they're watching. I'm about to apply a lot of pressure to them. They're going to open 15 offices in the next 12 months between here and New York. So, let's all encourage them strongly to get the show on the road.
Brittany McDonald, you said, Jeannie, can you see my question? I don't see your question yet.
But would you ask it again, please, Brittany? We'll definitely answer it.
Thomas Lyman says, it seems we have been left alone here.
You have been,
yes.
Thomas, you have. And, it's terrible, actually. I was going to say interesting, but it's not. It's just terrible. New York and California, 2 of the highest population areas in the country, have no doctors. It's insane to me. And so we're focusing heavily on each of the coasts to solve that problem. At the same time, we're trying to get some doctors in other areas. Like we just opened up in Memphis, Tennessee. We're really happy about that. They just saw their first patient yesterday. And we'll definitely be able to help that person. And we have an office in McKinney, Texas, which is 20 minutes north of Dallas. It's in Collin County. It's a beautiful first-class office, and they've had a couple of handfuls of people there. They're helping out. So if you're in those areas, you shouldn't be struggling with this. You should be calling federal injury centers, and we're working hard to get offices all around the country.
Yeah. How do we say that name? I didn't want to ruin it.
Cicely, it looks like.
Cicely.
Or, forgive me, could be Sicily. Anyways, go ahead and ask the question.
Got injured 1 year ago and tore my meniscus. Had therapy with cortisone patch. Then COVID came along and my therapist closed. Had 1 visit when he opened and then my therapy was denied. I have to have surgery and it was also denied. What should be my next step?
I'm going to need more information. You may not have it right now, but if surgery's denied, denied surgery usually is a diagnosis issue. You said you have a torn meniscus. That sounds surgical, but it depends on what your approved condition is, your approved diagnosis. So I'd want to see that. And if physical therapy is being denied, that's unusual, okay? If your claim is not accepted yet, that would cause therapy to be denied. So I'm just going to need some more information. You can give us a call. We're happy to help. The number's there. But I have to know if your claim's approved, and what is the approved condition if it's approved. And that would help me answer the question a little better. But for the rest of you, if your claim is not approved, okay, whether it's denied or just not approved yet, they're not going to pre-authorize anything. And if your claim is approved for a low-level diagnosis, they will never pre-authorize surgery.
The end.
Yeah.
Michelle Walker said, my injury comp is not allowed to open my email. I didn't know if you were talking to us. Lisa Clapp said, just ordered a paperback book. Thank you.
Thank you. Tell your friends.
Evans Juice said, when you call,
Evans.
they will tell you they have 90 days to review your case.
Yeah, hey, do this. If they say, I have 90 days to review your case, I want you to say, please tell me what the rule is in writing. Can you just quote the rule to me? They won't find it. It's not in the code. It's not in the U.S. code, the Code of Federal Regulations, unless they just wrote it yesterday. So ask them to quote you the rule if they have 90 days.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from? Because your life is on hold for that 90 days, and they don't have a rule to quote.
And it sucks.
So ask them to quote the rule.
And do not use your health insurance.
Well, I mean, do what you got to do, but it's better if you don't.
Yeah.
It's definitely better if you don't. I wouldn't want to.
Shirley said, we need an office in Louisiana, please.
We have one that we are talking to in, God help me, New Orleans. It's only my favorite place in the world to go to.
I thought it was Vegas.
No, New Orleans is way better. You don't have to dress up there.
Miss Marino, my neck doctor...
I like t-shirts, okay, and hats.
My neck doctor has me off of work in OWCP 5C. He wants me to have surgery on it. I saw my shoulder doctor 2 weeks later and filled out the same form and has me light duty limitation. Shoulder doctor wants me to see me after I have neck surgery. I got a letter from OWCP saying not enough evidence. My case still shows strain on my neck.
Yeah.
I talked to my claims examiner and said I had to send a letter to request to extend my case so my medical codes can be updated. Is that true?
No, you don't need to extend your case. However, if you were denied, you are going to have 12 months to request reconsideration. You'll need to do that inside the 12-month window. But your doctor needs to write a diagnosis expansion report to include whatever diagnosis is surgical on your cervical. Okay? Sprain is definitely not surgical.
And with the 2 different forms the doctors filled out, do I have to go back to work?
All right. If your doctor's filled out forms saying you could work in some limited capacity, I recommend it. Because what I have seen, and recently we saw this, someone was given a limited duty, CA-17, and chose not to go back to work and got fired. So what they did is they went against their doctor's orders and they went AWOL and they got fired. So if your doctor writes a limited duty form for you, like a CA-17, or in your case, you said the OWCP 5C, which get a 17, it's better. Get a CA-17, it's better. And that CA-17 shows you can work with limitations, and they give you limitations at work. You need to go. That'll save your job.
Michelle Walker says, I'm in Garland, Texas.
Hey, I was born in Garland, Texas. That's a true story. Garland Memorial Hospital. It's not there anymore. I was born there. My brother, my best friend Jeremy, his brother Dustin, we were all born in Garland Memorial. Our grandmothers worked there.
This cowboy's from Texas.
Yep, Garland, Texas.
So if you want to know where you can go...
But McKinney's not that far from Garland.
Go to McKinney.
Now, look, it's not that far from it. Here's the deal. If you love that losing feeling and denied claims feel good to you and you're not getting paid and that's all great, then don't go to McKinney. Clearly, I'm not talking to you. But a lot of people think it's too far to drive wherever it is. But we're from Texas. We know you can drive 18 hours and still be in Texas. So Garland to McKinney is not that bad to get your claim accepted.
Brittany McDonald, I know you said if I saw your question, I still haven't seen it yet. So if you haven't asked,
we'd sure like to answer it.
Go ahead and comment. Angela Bowling said, what to expect on a second opinion DOL requested interview? Thank you.
Yeah, what's going to happen is you could have a great doctor, the second opinion doctor, who's going to be incredibly great and awesome and caring and thorough, or you can be like a lot of other people who go see the doctor for 5 minutes, they don't touch you, they barely look at you, and they don't ask a lot of questions, and they write an adverse report. So, have your doctor fill out a CA-20 form, CA-20. You can find all these forms at federalinjurycenters.com. That's Federal Injury Centers, with an S on the end, .com. The CA-20 will give like a status update on what's going on. Also have your treating doctor write a short narrative report explaining your condition. and take those things to the second opinion doctor. Assume that all of your records don't make it there. Assume that whatever records do make it there, they don't read. If you hand them some records, it'll be awfully hard for them not to take a look at it. So fill out a CA-20, your doctor, fill out a CA-20, and get a narrative report explaining your condition, and be sure you take that to your second opinion doctor.
All right, Charmaine Mays says, so I broke my leg in 2010. Both bones still have the rod in. Going to the doctor on the 20th for my year checkup so I can see another doctor. Is that still covered by work comp?
Yes. Yeah, you have lifetime medical benefits. So if you're going to see the doctor as a result of an OWCP injury, it is covered. They may need to pre-authorize it, which is just in advance, tell the claims examiner and get approval. But it is eligible for approval.
Ruth said, there are doctors around Jackson, Michigan, because no one wants to get involved.
Where are you looking at that?
Right there. Oh, are there any doctors around Jackson? Am I?
I'm just not seeing it. Where are you
right
seeing
there,
it?
where my thumb is. Ruth.
Yeah, I just need to read. I don't know of any doctors there, and I'm really sorry about that. It's an awful situation. Most states don't have a single doctor that will claim to be an OWCP doctor, or who will want to, or who have been trained to do it. That's why we do what we do, training them. Like when we moved into Alabama to Bessemer, which is outside of Birmingham, that was the first doctor in the whole state that was willing to learn this, or that would admit to doing it. That's the case in most states, with few exceptions. So, you're going to have a hard time finding doctors. And I'm sorry about that, but that's why we are out here trying to train doctors.
Brittany, I'll when you message me, I'll go ahead and take care of that. Cicely said that's how you pronounce
Cicely.
her name.
Oh, okay, I got it right the first
She
time.
said, yes, my claim was approved in September 2019, but I will definitely find out more. Thank you, and you were right. Cicely is how it's pronounced.
Perfect.
Michelle Walker said, so I can get can I get McKinney's number? You said to call and email your injury comp till they respond. They think I'm making a paper trail.
Yeah, just call the 877 number, 787-6927, and we will get you in touch, most likely with Jennifer, and she'll do an intake thoroughly to make sure we have everything you need so we can get your claim accepted. And you can get to the McKinney office. It won't be a problem.
Margaret Small, where's your office in Louisiana?
Well, not yet. We don't have one there yet, but we are actively talking to someone in New Orleans. Now, I know that doesn't cover the whole state, but it's a start.
Michelle said, your hospital is gone.
Yeah, I know. It's actually been gone for decades, but I was definitely born there, okay? That was real. You're looking at me in the flesh and blood.
Shirley said, I was first diagnosed with sprained back. Took a lot of work and determination to get it changed to ruptured disc.
Mm-hmm. It's a hard work. That's right.
Brittany said, started claim in January, still not accepted. Postmaster says since my claim is not accepted, that she is not required to offer me a limited duty assignment and will not offer me anything. She said I have two options, come back to work full duty against doctor's orders to get paid, or sit at home without pay. MRI shows partial ligament tears and tendonitis in my Achilles. How the hell are we supposed to survive without a paycheck for months while unable to work? I see Dr. Harper in Bessemer. I'm an RCA, if that makes a difference.
Well, it makes a huge difference because if you're in Dr. Harper's office, your claim should be really close to being approved, and I'm surprised it's not already. So what I'd like you to do is give us a call tomorrow. I want you to talk to Jennifer if you haven't already. She works very closely with Dr. Harper, and let's get that going. In the meantime, you're going to have to, probably use some sick and annual leave. You need your Family Medical Leave Act, FMLA. They have to approve that. There's nothing they can do about it. And
they'll accept that as well.
You're in a tough spot. I'm going to assume you're a carrier, and because that sounds like somebody that would have an Achilles issue, and that's a rough injury to have to do that job.
Yeah.
You carriers, you have maybe the hardest job in the country. So, look, let's figure out what it takes to get the claim accepted fast so that your supervisor or your postmaster will stop giving you such a hard time.
Eric said, tore my meniscus in right knee, went to doctor, went for 3 months, now they want a second opinion from, is this normal?
Yeah, totally common. I'd say at least half of all injured employees end up at a second opinion doctor. Don't stress about it. Take a CA-20, take a narrative from your doctor explaining your condition, and go. But whatever you do, don't miss that appointment, because that could be the only reason they need to close your claim. It's totally common, though. Like, don't worry about it. It happens all the time. And if that second opinion doctor, gives some sort of adverse, opinion about your claim, which a lot of times they do, you'll just take that back to your doctor, your treating doctor, and have them fix it.
Shirley Hicks said, Jennifer is so sweet as well. Yeah, she is, and she's very knowledgeable, guys.
Yeah, Jennifer's been with me for a very long time. She was with me at the previous place I was at before I had this company. And she's incredible. I don't know very many people in this country that know OWCP like I do. But the interesting thing is she knew it like I do before I know it, or before I learned it. She was the first OWCP expert I ever knew. When I left the place I was at, I was like, man, if I'm going to do this thing, I better know at least as much as she does. So she's really good. If you get to talk to her, it'll be a gift to you.
Brittany said, yes, a carrier, not career, so no leave of any type.
Well, you have family medical leave. You don't have to be federal. Every American worker has access to FMLA.
Yeah. Kathy Smith said, I have an open case. I've been working for 4 hours a day since 2018, and DOL has not paid me from then to present. Yikes.
You have an approved?
Why?
It's an approved case?
I have an open case. I've been working 4 hours a day.
So open and approved are two different things. So I need to know, is your case approved? What diagnosis is it approved for? And you're another one that's probably going to have to give us a call. We can work through it. And once your claim is open and approved at the same time, you can get all that time back.
Ruth, you want to know if there's any doctors close to Indiana? So we trained a doctor.
There is one close to Indiana.
Named Dr. Terry Toll. Look him up.
Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis.
About 30 minutes from the airport.
Yeah. So Chris trained him a couple of years ago. He's great. So that's the only doctor that we know of there. And no, he isn't a Federal Injury Centers doctor.
No, he's not. But he is an OWCP warrior. Yeah. There's nobody that I would trust more than him and, Patron in Chicago. So if you can get there, it'll definitely benefit you in your life.
Evans Juice said, when your claim is denied, they never get light duty available. But once it's accepted, all of a sudden they get plenty of light duty. Those people are evil.
Well, they are. That's right. That's exactly right. And that's exactly how it works. When it's approved, your claim's approved, they have to do something about it. When it's not approved, they treat you like you're disposable. And that's what we're fighting against. That's exactly why I wrote the book, by the way. So get it.
Angela, you said, is Dr. Gian in Northern Virginia still affiliated with Federal Injury Centers? Thank you for the information.
Well, not affiliated with Federal Injury Centers. It's somebody that I trained. Yeah. And once I train them and they're not part of Federal Injury Centers, they're on their own. No offense to them. It's not that I'm leaving them out hanging to dry, but they're well trained. And from there, I don't really run their business. However, if there's a Federal Injury Centers doctor as a franchise, I'm able to set rules. And that's a difference between someone that I just train and somebody that joins a franchise. When they join the franchise, they have to follow my rules. Rules like not charging people money ever. That's a rule.
Yeah, a lot of you wind up calling and then start yelling or emailing
and
stuff
do that.
like that.
Don't do that.
And telling us, your doctor, and all of a sudden I find out who the doctor is, and they are not a part of Federal Injury Centers. It is just doctors that Chris has trained in the last couple of years, maybe 15, 20 of them. So if they do something wrong, you have to go back to them and talk to them, because we can't tell them how to document and word. We can't do anything medical.
Well, there's no can't there. I can suggest things to them. But, what used to happen, the way I started this business is by training doctors. That was my whole business, was just training. And once I would train them, they're on their own. It's still their business. It's not mine. But these problems are one of the reasons that I've shifted to this franchise model, to where I invite them to join Federal Injury Centers, because by signing to agree to join, they're also signing to agree to follow my rules. I don't teach them, or I don't tell them how to treat a patient. I don't tell them how to make diagnosis decisions or any medical decisions, but I do set rules. like not charging people out of their pocket. I set rules like, see patients, within 24 hours. Don't make them wait. And, if they ask for a narrative, write it. And I make rules like if they need a form filled out, sign it. So we have those, the things that I know you're dealing with, that you struggle with, I can set those rules for Federal Injury Center's offices.
Yeah. So don't call and get mad at us or Jennifer or Emmy or email us that, the doctor didn't do something right. First of all, go back to the doctor, contact the doctor's office and see what they could do for you. Then if you don't seem like it's working, then give us a call. We can kind of like send them a message and say, so-and-so is upset and, please reach out to them.
Now you feel free and say, I'm going to tell Chris. You can tell him.
Yeah, you can use those
And I'll
words.
I'd actually be glad to call them on your behalf because I do want them to do the right thing. That's the reason I even went out to train them, is so they would do the right thing on your behalf.
Yeah. Brittany, the phone number that you need to call is 877-787-OWCP.
6927.
Nadine said, can you use OWCP, not OWCP.gov? I don't understand what that means. Do you?
Well, OWCP.gov is a website, so I'm not really sure what you're... maybe ask that question differently.
Better to stay OWCP or if little hope OPM.
OPM is a different thing, okay? You're eligible for a federal disability on issues that have nothing to do with a work injury. You can get bit by a shark on a deep-sea fishing expedition during spring break and be eligible for OPM. So they're two different things. Don't mix them together. They're different agencies. One's Department of Labor, one's the Office of Personnel Management. And, they do different things.
Nadine, there aren't any doctors that we know of in San Antonio, but soon.
Yeah, we're working on it. I have a lead on a San Antonio doctor, so we'll see where that goes.
And I know this is like far away because I see how ginormous Texas is. It's like that little, but know. I guess the closest would be
Don't even say
Houston?
it. That's it.
Or McKinney, Texas.
Yeah.
Tona said, I need to file for MMI doctor. The one I have says he doesn't do that, and I'm in Las Vegas.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to take a road trip or an airplane flight. I would search, this is how you do this. Search this on Google. Search OWCP Schedule Award Doctor. OWCP Schedule Award Doctor, and see what you come up with. Most likely, you're going to come up with somebody in Oklahoma City named Dr. Ellis. But check that out.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ellis is incredibly great at this. Nobody's better at schedule awards than him, but he's in Oklahoma City. If it's important to you, maybe it's something you want to do. He's not part of Federal Injury Centers. I know him, and if I needed a schedule award, he'd be the guy.
He's a little rough, but he gets the job done.
But you want him to be rough.
Yeah.
Your impairment rating also won't be denied.
No.
Not from him.
Ticey, there is no, the doctor in Houston is Dr. On.
A-N.
I asked a few weeks ago and there wasn't. No, there's always been Dr. On. I think now she's like going on year 2.
Yeah, there's just not a Federal Injury Centers doctor.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Remember, I trained some and some joined the team or the franchise. Dr. On is great, and she's a fighter, and you'll like her. I like her very much.
Yeah, so go to
OWCP. Go ahead.
Doctor.
Do OWCP Injury Doctor, Houston, Texas. OWCP Injury Doctor, Houston, Texas. You'll find her.
Yeah.
That's your Google search. OWCP Injury Doctor, Houston, Texas. I just can't remember her URL, but I know that's how you'll find her.
So you guys had a lot of great questions tonight.
Yeah, tonight was really fun. You guys did great.
And as we end this, let me let you guys know again, if anybody wants a Zoom union meeting for us to privately train your group or your group of friends,
We'd love it.
let me know and get that scheduled. As the year is coming to an end, I know a lot of you are going to want maybe some sort of meeting or some sort of training. We are still going to do our OWCP convention in October.
Yeah.
I haven't found a date yet, but I will post it as soon as I get one. Second, if you haven't got the book, I pinned at the comment below www.breakingowcp.com. The book is $14.95. As you guys saw, Gizmo was advertising last year. Now he's the new marketer.
Last
week, last year. Buy the book, $14.95, free shipping. We always make sure it gets mailed out Friday. Oh my God,
We're struggling here. It'll be mailed out tomorrow if you order
by 3
tonight.
p.m. And those of you that keep messaging us asking, "Where's my book?"
I appreciate your anxiousness and excitement, but I always get the book out. If it comes out if you order it on Friday, there's a pretty good chance it's not going to get out until Monday. Outside of that, if you order it, it's out tomorrow. No disrespect to the post office, but some of these areas are running pretty slow. I've seen it in some mail centers for like a week at a time.
Yeah.
It happens. If you're worried about it or wondering about it, you can always ask me and I'll tell you exactly where it's at because I have tracking on every single shipment.
Carol, yes, that's how you spell doctor, on.
Yeah.
Kimberly Sanders says, have recently experienced carpal tunnel. I ordered your book, but in the meantime, what's my starting point?
Fill out a CA2 form and get a copy of everything back from your supervisor and take that CA2 to the doctor and get a narrative report explaining how carpal tunnel was a result of your required work duties and get that accepted and then get treatment and get better.
Yeah. So next week, Wednesday, we won't be on. The following week, we're going to have attorney Eric Blowers back on, and he's going to discuss OPM disability, which he does, and federal personal injury. So get your friends. Especially the carriers that drive LLVs or the VA employees that drive government vehicle or any person that's a federal person that drives a government vehicle that gets rear-ended or injured while driving. This is going to be a great segment to watch with Eric because he's going to explain it. He's going to explain why you should hire a federal attorney versus a regular personal injury attorney.
And it'll be obvious. It'll take like 5 seconds for you to figure it out. But you definitely have to do it. Anybody that's had a third-party injury should be watching this. If you were bit by a dog, you should be watching. If you're in a car wreck, you should be watching. If you slipped on somebody else's property, you should be watching. If someone had their water hose out and you were taking the mail to their house and you fell and hurt yourself, you should be watching.
Yeah.
All of these can be potential third-party claims. So you need to be looking at this stuff because, sneak peek, you get 20% of the settlement when they're approved.
Yeah, so
20% can be a lot, it can be a little, but it's always more than zero. It doesn't matter. So definitely check us out in a couple of weeks when we have Eric on.
Janice said, thank you so much, Chris. You were awesome
welcome.
as usual. Next time, can you let us see the puppy? Can you grab him?
I'll get him right now. He's right here.
Tycee said, oh my God, I have a personal attorney. Be careful because what's going to happen is they're not going to understand the federal part.
But Eric will work with that
But
attorney.
if you want, contact Eric and Eric will work with that attorney.
Say hi.
When you fill out a car, what doctor do you go to? Your regular doctor? What if he's not a work comp doctor?
Well, most of them aren't work comp doctors, and that's going to be a problem. So,
So when you try to contact us or go online and look for OWCP doctor in your city to try to find a federal work injury doctor, or just call us right away. If you go to your regular doctor, number one, you're not going to get the results that you want. And number two, it's just, you're not going to get paid if you do that, especially if they don't take work comp. Yeah. And that's where you're going to get
It's a tough
screwed.
situation, but we're working, like I said, we're trying to get more doctors in different areas. And
they want to see his face.
yeah, he's the baby.
Can you turn him around? They're like, oh my God, he is so adorable. Love the breed. Yeah, this is our marketing. This is our marketing director, Gizmo Helms. Say hi, Gizmo. Who's that? Yeah, that's all he had to say.
That's it. He's a boy of few words.
And then the following week after Eric is on, we're going to take 3 chapters from the book. So if you haven't gotten the book, you get it. And we're going to go over in detail, in case you still don't understand it, write down questions or, highlight and just remember certain keywords that Chris is going to discuss and educate.
And while we're at it, by the way, when we get on the book topic, if you've got something you read and you just don't quite understand it, I'd really appreciate it if you just ask me so that I can clarify it. Because if you don't understand it, there's a chance other people won't.
Yeah.
I wrote it and I'm an expert at it. And, if I wrote it and it was too high level, I want to fix that and let you know, what the information is. So let me know if there's any questions you have from the book after you read it.
Gizmo needs some treats after this because he's so darn cute. He gets homemade meals by me. He gets chicken, carrots, apples, and raspberries for dinner with his dog food. Fresh every day. So, thank you guys again for all your great questions. We hope we answered them. And if anybody has any more personal or more questions that we didn't answer, please let us know. Again, Eric's information is posted below. If you need to go back, you can always watch any of our videos. It goes back maybe 3-4 years since we've been doing this. All our videos are posted. Information on doctors that Chris trained is posted. Eric's information is posted. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Again, next week we won't be on. But if you have any questions, please email us. Call us, and we will see you guys then.
And again, great job tonight. Great questions. This is one of the best nights we've had in a long time. I really appreciate all the questions. You're very engaged. Tell your friends next time so that we have even more people asking. If we ever have to stay on an hour and a half or 2 hours, anything's possible if there's enough people. So thanks for being here tonight.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. We will see you back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.